Imagine this for a moment. You've spent years shaping yourself according to the expectations of others. You've molded yourself into a version that fits society's ever-changing standards, seeking validation from friends, family, and strangers alike. Every decision you make is weighed down by the fear of judgment, the desire to meet someone else's idea of who you should be. You live in a constant state of seeking approval, and in doing so, you lose touch with who you truly are. Now think about this. What if everything you've been taught about success, achievement, and validation is actually keeping you from experiencing true happiness? What if the key to confidence, peace, and fulfillment isn't in chasing external recognition, but in letting go of it completely? Michel de Montaigne, a philosopher who lived hundreds of years ago, explored this very paradox. His life and work provide profound insights into what it means to live authentically, free from the weight of societal pressures. Montaigne's philosophy invites us to question everything we think we know about identity, success, and what it means to live a meaningful life. And by the end of this journey, you'll realize why the moment you stop caring about how others see you, your life begins to unfold naturally, effortlessly, and beautifully. Consider this. How much of your life have you spent trying to meet expectations that aren't even yours? How often have you held back because you feared judgment or worried about what others would think? The answer might surprise you. So much of our stress, our discontent, and our feelings of inadequacy come from trying to meet standards that were never meant for us to follow. Montaigne's philosophy reveals an important truth. The more we free ourselves from these external pressures, the more we connect with our true selves. He believed that life is inherently uncertain and imperfect, and that true wisdom lies in self-acceptance, accepting that we are not perfect and embracing life as it comes, without trying to control or perfect every moment. But here's where many people misunderstand Montaigne's ideas. Not caring does not mean becoming indifferent, lazy, or detached from life. It doesn't mean withdrawing from relationships or responsibilities. What Montaigne means is this: when you stop seeking validation, when you release the need to constantly prove yourself to others, you free yourself from a prison built of expectations. This is not apathy. It's a powerful form of liberation. Montaigne observed how most people are prisoners of their own thoughts, trapped in cycles of worry, insecurity, and self-doubt. He questioned why we allow the opinions of others to guide our decisions. Why do we fear judgment and failure so intensely? Why do we chase after an idea of success that has little to do with our true purpose in life? And perhaps the most crucial question, what if we just stopped caring about these things? When you stop caring about perfection, you begin to accept your flaws. When you stop caring about being liked by everyone, you start living for yourself. When you stop trying to control every detail of your life, you allow space for something far more significant to emerge: freedom. And here's the paradox. The less you care about seeking approval, the more powerful and authentic you become. Think about the most confident people you've met. Are they the ones constantly seeking validation from others, over-explaining themselves, and trying to be liked by everyone? Or are they the ones who seem comfortable in their own skin, unbothered by trivial concerns, and unapologetically themselves? The ones who are not constantly performing for others are the ones who naturally attract admiration and respect. Their power comes from being authentically who they are. Montaigne understood this before modern psychology even existed. He knew that authenticity was magnetic. When you stop seeking approval, you not only gain inner peace, but you also become more attractive, socially, emotionally, and even professionally. People are drawn to those who are unapologetically themselves. When you stop trying to control everything and instead trust the process of life, something beautiful happens. You begin to experience life more fully, and things start falling into place. But why does this happen? Why does letting go of unnecessary worries actually improve our lives? The reason is simple. When you stop worrying about things that are out of your control, you create space for life to unfold naturally. Relationships become more genuine, opportunities come more easily, and decisions are made with clarity because they are aligned with what you truly want, not what others expect. This, in essence, is the heart of Montaigne's philosophy. He believed that much of our suffering comes from resisting reality, from trying to force life into a mold that doesn't fit. But when we release that resistance, life has a way of aligning itself with our needs. Opportunities emerge, relationships deepen, success finds its way to us, not because we chased it, but because we allowed it to come to us. Think about this. How many times have you hesitated to speak your mind, worrying about what others might think? How often have you replayed conversations in your head, scrutinizing every word and wondering if you were judged? How much of your life has been spent trying to meet expectations that you never agreed to in the first place? Montaigne invites us to step away from these self-imposed limitations and to embrace uncertainty, imperfection, and the beauty of life as it is. He teaches us that when we stop caring about external validation, we begin to see life in a completely new light. We become more connected to our true selves, and as a result, everything in our lives starts aligning with who we truly are. So, how do we apply this philosophy in practical terms? How do we let go of the weight of societal expectations, judgment, and fear? The answer is in practice. We begin by noticing when we are seeking validation and consciously choosing to let go of it. We start by acknowledging our imperfections without shame, by expressing ourselves freely without fear of rejection, and by making decisions based on what we truly desire, not on what we think we should want. When we begin to detach ourselves from the need for approval, we realize that much of our suffering comes from holding on to things that no longer serve us. Relationships, jobs, habits, and fears that have no place in our lives anymore. When we let go of these attachments, we open up space for more meaningful experiences to enter. But here's the fascinating part. As you start letting go, not only do you find peace, but you also start living a life that is filled with more joy, success, and authenticity than you ever imagined. The paradox is that when you stop forcing things, they often come to you naturally. Life becomes less about striving and more about receiving. Montaigne understood this deeply. He saw how society conditions us to fear uncertainty, to cling to control, and to constantly chase after validation. Yet, he challenged us to see that the key to true freedom and peace lies not in conquering life, but in learning to dance with it. So, as you move forward, think about this. What would your life look like if you let go of the things that no longer serve you? What would happen if you embraced uncertainty, stopped fearing failure, and gave up the need to prove yourself to anyone? Because the truth is this: when you stop caring about the wrong things, the right things find their way to you.